Welcome to IE News Week in Review and welcome to our viewers logged on to our website www.ietvtt.com. I am Micah Dume. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at the top stories that made the news headlines on Monday. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin said regional corporations have collected, sorted and packaged the donated supplies, including food and essential items, which have been labeled in both English and Spanish for easy distribution. The relief supplies will be transported to the Plipdeco warehouse before being palletized and shipped to Venezuela.
They have labeled these items in English and Spanish. They have also packed buckets with items in them, dry foods, canned foods, powdered milk and so on. And this is easy for us to give to an individual. It's easy to ship, and we are doing this in collaboration with Sewa Titi. So we have over 1,000 buckets that are packaged, so it will be easy for distribution on the field given the situation with the earthquake. And all of these items will be transported to the Plipdeco warehouse, where they will be packaged on pallets to be shipped on Friday.
She said the response from businesses, community groups and members of the public has been overwhelmingly positive, with donations continuing to pour in. She added that the collection drive was based on a list of priority items provided by the Venezuelan ambassador. The minister also encouraged the public to continue donating supplies or contribute financially through the Venezuela Disaster Relief Fund at First Citizens Bank.
And I think that level of enthusiasm is positive. You also have a lot of groups who do social work with Venezuelan citizens who are in Trinidad, and many of them have also reached out with concern because they have relatives there in Venezuela that they want to get items to. So, so far the response have been very, very positive, and even our disaster management units have been very busy in terms of receiving and packaging items.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is representing Trinidad and Tobago at the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in St. Lucia. The Prime Minister arrived in St. Lucia accompanied by Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Nicholas Morris, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Daryl Alahar, and Head of Foreign Service Randall Karim. Following her arrival, Persad-Bissessar joined fellow CARICOM heads of government at the opening ceremony of the regional summit. Over the coming days, CARICOM leaders are expected to discuss a range of issues critical to the region's future, including regional security, economic development, climate resilience, trade and deeper cooperation among member states. The Prime Minister also provided a brief update on the day's agenda, noting that discussions will focus on advancing the interests of the people of the Caribbean and strengthening collaboration across the CARICOM community.
Today we're all on standby to depart for the first real working day of this Conference of Heads, which is the retreat of all Prime Ministers. So I look forward to that. There are several areas I want to share with them. I'm sure they will want to share with me. So for example, I want to offer to those CARICOM members who are interested our prosthetic limb center, that they can bring their people down and we will try to accommodate them. We have other areas for discussion. A ferry. There's a discussion about a ferry, that we can use our ferry on certain days and bring it up here to the Eastern Caribbean, or the higher up then. We have security issues to discuss, serious matters. We have been grappling with crime and crime surges in TNT, and apparently that is happening in the other countries in the CARICOM. So security matters will be another very major matter. And of course there is a matter with respect to the Secretary General. I suppose that may come up at this meeting as well.
The University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus has signed 2 memoranda of understanding with the Northwest Regional Health Authority and the Princess Elizabeth Home of Handicapped Children Association to strengthen healthcare research and student training. Here's more. The agreements will provide internship opportunities for engineering students, expand clinical training for dentistry students, and support joint research in biomedical engineering, digital healthcare, and healthcare infrastructure. Dean of Faculty of Medical Sciences, Professor Hariharan Sithatharam, said the partnerships will also improve access to dental care for special needs patients through the university's special needs dentistry clinic, while strengthening collaboration between the university and the public health sector. He added that the initiatives are expected to improve healthcare delivery, create practical learning opportunities for students, and support the development of innovative healthcare solutions for Trinidad and Tobago.
This one is being led by the Dental School of the Faculty of Medical Sciences through its special needs dentistry clinic and will provide dental care for special needs patients, clinical support and training at no cost to the patients once funding exists. We look forward to using the home's surgical theatre as much as possible to carry out these treatments. It is our hope that one of the outcomes will be the development of these systems that boost the efficiency of our healthcare system. These plans fit into the broader objective of developing healthcare engineering solutions for Trinidad and Tobago public health sector. It's no exaggeration to say that the health sector, public and private, would benefit tremendously from these kinds of alliances, which can only bode well for the population. These two MOUs are well aligned to the university's commitment to building partnerships outside of academia to support both our students and external bodies in ways that enrich learning throughout our society.
From the freshness of the ocean, Rainbow has sealed in all the natural, healthy goodness in their canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel. So go ahead, enjoy some crispy sardines, stewed mackerel, or a creamy tuna salad. Because while your tummy enjoys the great taste, your heart and immunity will love the healthy omega-3s, calcium, protein, and more. Rainbow's canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel are 100% real fish, so it's tasty, healthy eating for your body, heart, and mind. Rainbow canned fish.
Tile Expressions Limited, as one of the largest importers of tiles, offers an extensive range of high-quality tiles in ceramic, porcelain, granite, stone, and mosaic options. Additionally, we offer a variety of tile accessories and bathroom sets to complement any decor style. We are committed to providing exceptional customer service and swift delivery of all products. From indoor and outdoor tiles to bathroom sets and tile accessories, we have curated a range that caters to both traditional and modern taste. Lampus 13, Ajudha Road, Munro Road, Canopio. Call 223-8453.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the top stories that made the news headlines on Tuesday. In some sport news, Lionel Messi delivered once again as Argentina staged a stunning comeback to defeat Egypt 3-2 and book a place in the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals. Trailing 2-0 with just 11 minutes remaining, Argentina rallied with goals from Cristiano Romero, Messi, and a stoppage time winner from Enzo Fernandez. Messi's equalizer was his 8th goal of the 2026 tournament, marching Argentina's single World Cup scoring record set by Guillermo Stabile in 1930. The strike also extended his record to 21 World Cup goals and marked his 9th consecutive World Cup appearance with a goal, setting a new tournament record. The defending champions will now face either Switzerland or Colombia in the quarterfinals as they continue their quest for back-to-back World Cup titles. Trinidad and Tobago is facing a critical shortage of passport booklets, with reports indicating that the country's remaining supply is close to being exhausted. Sources say immigration officials have been instructed to slow the rate of passport issuance while authorities work to secure a new supply of booklets. The shortage is reportedly linked to delays in completing a long-term procurement contract for new passports, including the country's planned transition to electronic passports. Officials had previously warned that passport stocks were declining and that urgent action was needed to avoid a shortage. However, a new procurement process is now underway after the previous contract was cancelled. The situation has also affected expedited passport applications, with processing times increasing from 2 to 3 days to as long as 7 to 10 days. Government officials have not indicated when a new shipment of passport booklets is expected to arrive. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is seeking a ruling from the Caribbean Court of Justice over the reappointment of CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. Here's more. At the 51st CARICOM Heads of Government Summit in St. Lucia, the Prime Minister formally challenged Dr. Barnett's second term, arguing that the reappointment process did not comply with the procedures outlined in the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. In a 22-page letter to regional leaders, Persad-Bissessar said the issue is not personal, but one of constitutional governance and adherence to CARICOM's legal framework. She is proposing that the CCJ provide an expedited advisory opinion on the matter and has suggested that Dr. Barnett remain in office on a month-to-month basis until the court issues its ruling. The matter reportedly dominated discussions among regional leaders during the opening working session of the 4-day CARICOM summit, with several heads of government continuing to express support for Dr. Barnett's leadership.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the top stories that made the news headlines on Wednesday. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has dismissed what it describes as false social media reports following the discovery of 8 firearms at the Belmont Police Station. Here's more. Speaking during a police media briefing, Acting Assistant Superintendent and Public Information Officer Owie Russell said no police officer has been detained or is in custody in connection with the investigation. Russell also denied claims that the officer at the center of the speculation fled the country, explaining that the officer, who is not a police sergeant, was granted approved vacation leave and received permission from the Commissioner of Police to travel abroad before investigators accessed the locked office where the firearms were found. Police say preliminary investigations suggest the firearms may be court exhibits connected to ongoing criminal matters. Investigators are now working to determine their origin status and whether proper police service procedures were followed. The Professional Standards Bureau is continuing investigations, and the TTPS says appropriate action will be taken if any breaches are identified. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says Trinidad and Tobago is committed to strengthening regional healthcare by helping CARICOM countries respond to external challenges through greater access to affordable medical services. Speaking at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, the Prime Minister announced proposals to provide CARICOM nationals with reduced cost access to Trinidad and Tobago's National Prosthetic Center, deploy fully trained doctors to member states, and make specialized pediatric services at the Coover Children's Hospital available to children across the region. She said the initiatives reflect Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to deeper regional cooperation and improving healthcare access through the Caribbean.
The way forward with respect to your questions about external shocks that is impacting on our countries. And I think every one of us in the community, is the whole issue of what Mia raised about cost of living. So in addition to the initiatives that Prime Minister Motley has outlined, Trinidad and Tobago is very interested, of course, in earning forex, but at the same time giving some kind of affordable health care. So if I may, Prime Minister, this is also with respect to bringing down the cost of living in our country. So we propose, first of all, we have had help from the government of India to set up a national prosthetic center. This is for the fitting of artificial limbs. I have set up that center, and I'm not saying our services there, of course, at an affordable price will be available to our CARICOM brothers and sisters. Because when we look at the prices otherwise, you go to the US, they range from $3,000 US to, what was it you told me, $120,000 US, depending on the mobility of what you want that artificial limb to do. So this is in one area I think we can help bring down costs, where we could use our center. Of course, we will earn some forex, but it will be at an affordable price for brothers and sisters in the CARICOM.
Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, has commended Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar following CARICOM's decision to support Trinidad and Tobago's proposal to seek an advisory opinion from the Caribbean Court of Justice on the reappointment of the CARICOM Secretary General. In a statement, Minister Amin said the issue was never about personalities, but about defending due process, transparency, and the integrity of the region's institutions. She praised the Prime Minister's courage, determination, and commitment to principle, saying the decision to seek the guidance of the CCJ reflects a shared commitment to fairness, accountability, and good governance across the Caribbean. Minister Amin also congratulated Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar on what she described as her steadfast leadership, adding that CARICOM leaders ultimately choose principle over expediency. She further described the outcome as another example of the Prime Minister's strong leadership and diplomatic engagement on the regional and international stage, while noting its significance for Trinidad and Tobago as a member of the Caribbean community.
I just want to join in the commendations for Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as Trinidad and Tobago's principled position got the support of our Caribbean partners recently. I think from the outset, it was never about personalities. It was about defending due process. It was about transparency and the integrity of our regional institutions. And those are values worth standing for. Even when the road is not easy, Kamala Persad-Bissessar must be commended for her courage and her determination and that dedication to what is right versus what is popular. And her initial decision, even in Trinidad and Tobago, would not have been received with popularity in some quarters. But it is clear that the decision to seek the guidance of the Caribbean Court of Justice really demonstrates a shared commitment to fairness, to accountability, and to good governance across the region.
Introducing Signature Marine Coatings. We bring you premium marine solutions powered by PPG coatings, including anti-fouling protection, high-grade epoxy systems, fiberglass materials, and complete marine refinishing supplies. Protect, enhance, and maximize the performance of your vessel with products you can trust. Get the finish your vessel deserves. We are located at Tardy Marine Limited in Chaguaramas. Call us today at 2900-654 or email at signaturepaints@hotmail.com.
Let's do India and Nepal, a soulful journey across timeless destinations. Delhi, Kathmandu, Varanasi, Ayodhya, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Agra, and Jaipur. August 12th to 28th. Presented by Pandit Omarat. Call 681-3476 to book now. Not just a trip, it's a spiritual and cultural experience.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the top stories that made the news headlines on Thursday. Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training Professor Prakash Prasad says the government is taking steps to ensure Trinidad and Tobago's workforce remains competitive as artificial intelligence and emerging technologies continue to reshape the global job market. Speaking at the Future Forward event hosted by Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited and the Caribbean Industrial Research Institute, Minister Prasad said the ministry is repositioning the tertiary education and skills training system to focus on industry-aligned programs, micro-credentials, and flexible learning pathways. He explained that micro-credentials will allow citizens to acquire specialized skills through short courses with credits stored in a national credit bank that can be accumulated over time and applied towards further qualifications.
We have been actively repositioning our tertiary education skills training system to respond exactly to this challenge. So we are placing emphasis on short cycle industry-aligned training. Like some of this happening, and let's go higher up. Micro-credentials and flexible learning pathways. Micro-credentials is a new term that you can say 10, 15 hours, you do a course, you get some particular skill. We are looking at developing what we call a credit bank, where your credits for that course is stored in the bank, and as you go forward, you can use it as you go on that way.
The minister also revealed that Cabinet has approved stakeholder consultations on a policy to support the implementation of the initiative, adding that work is progressing and further details will be announced in due course. Professor Prasad said discussions are also underway with the Ministry of Education to introduce skills training and STEM education at an earlier stage, creating parallel pathways that prepare students for careers in engineering, technology, and other high-demand fields. He said the initiatives form part of the government's broader strategy to equip citizens with the skills needed to thrive in an increasingly technology-driven economy.
We got approval from Cabinet to discuss with stakeholders how we implement that. And up till last week, there was a big international conference in Trinidad on that, and one before that also. So it's in progress, and you'll hear more about that. And in discussions with the Minister of Education, we are looking at a parallel pathway upwards. So some may become economists, but some may become engineers, but you learn STEM and these sort of things from early age. And we're looking at skills training a lot earlier, where we want to integrate fully with the Ministry of Education. So these things are in work that's happening.
The Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government is encouraging coastal communities to view sargassum not as a nuisance but as a valuable economic resource with the potential to create jobs and support sustainable development. The ministry says the seaweed, once regarded solely as an environmental challenge, can be transformed into products and business opportunities that contribute to a circular economy. Officials are encouraging innovation and investment in sargassum-based industries with the aim of generating employment, supporting coastal livelihoods, and turning an environmental concern into a driver of economic growth.
I hope too that our coastal communities will look at entrepreneurship opportunities. How can I, as a person who lives alongside the beach, grow up with sargassum, treat sargassum not as a nuisance but as wealth in terms of agriculture, in terms of fisheries, and the endless possibilities for this, the circular economy, and how sargassum as a product could have so many byproducts that could give us so many other items, ranging from beauty products to disposable wares, disposable plates and food boxes, to fertilizers and a whole range of items.
Let's now take a look at some international news.
Tonight, the race to stabilize a 37-story building in Midtown Manhattan at risk of collapse.
We have columns partially down on 21 and 22, and we have floors sagging between 21 and 26.
ABC News obtaining this dramatic video from inside the East Side high-rise blocks from Grand Central Terminal showing steel support columns bending.
The building remains unstable.
The compromised building appearing to lean.
It appears just by looking at it, the building is leaning. Is the building leaning? The concern is that since we have been on site in the early morning, we have seen continued shift of the structure.
Around 8 a.m., construction workers began noticing a structural column on the 21st floor starting to warp. Then investigators found multiple cracks and the floors beginning to cave.
First they said they were working on the floor, and they started to watch some beams start to bend, windows start to break, some concrete start to crumble.
Authorities evacuated the building and at least 9 others nearby, including a hotel and school.
So I walked into the office. I was there for about 10 minutes, and then they were like, all right, everybody out, evacuate, get out now.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic stretching for blocks.
All workers were accounted for. There are no injuries. It's a very serious situation.
The high-rise, once the headquarters of the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer, is being converted into residential apartments.
What was going on up there is something that I've never seen in my 20 years.
In the last year, the building has logged 7 violations, from unsafe building demolition to debris falling from high heights, resulting in more than $32,000 in fines.
Tonight, President Trump touching down in Ankara for the NATO summit as tensions with Iran soar. U.S. Central Command announcing new powerful strikes, pledging to impose hefty costs on Iran for attacking 3 commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz in just the past 24 hours. Video posted online showing explosions from the American attacks. U.S. officials tell us the strikes targeted Iranian defense and coastal surveillance systems, missile and drone launch sites, and port facilities, calling the attacks a clear violation of the ceasefire and wholly unacceptable. The U.S. also revoking part of the deal President Trump signed that allowed Iran to sell its oil on the international market. Meanwhile, here at the NATO summit, President Trump lashing out at America's allies, accusing them of not helping him with the war he started.
But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran. We don't need anybody's help. I didn't even want their help, but before I asked, they said they wouldn't be there.
Well, this is where we leave you for now. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Micah Dumais. Thank you for joining us.